Welcome back to English and Popcorn. Today, we're learning English through one of the most inspiring movies ever, The Pursuit of Happyness. This is the story of Chris Gardner, a man who refuses to give up no matter how hard life gets. He faces poverty, homelessness, and heartbreak, but keeps chasing his dream of a better life for himself and his son. This video will help you practice English listening and storytelling while following Chris's incredible journey, full of emotion, struggle, and ultimate triumph. So grab your popcorn, sit back, and let's dive into the pursuit of happiness. Chris Gardner is a hard-working man living in San Francisco in the early 1980s. He is intelligent and determined, but life has not been easy for him. Chris invested all his savings into portable bone density scanners, a new medical device that he believes will make him rich. But the scanners are expensive, and hospitals are not buying them as quickly as he hoped. Every morning, Chris loads 1 or 2 scanners into a cab, or carries them across town, going from hospital to hospital, trying to sell them. Each sale takes time and patience, but Chris never gives up. He believes that success is just around the corner. He just needs to keep working. At home, Chris lives with his girlfriend, Linda, and their young son, Christopher. Their small apartment is barely enough for the 3 of them, and money is always tight. Chris and Linda fight often about bills and the rent. Linda feels tired and hopeless, but Chris keeps telling her that things will get better. One day, while walking through the city, Chris notices a man getting out of a shiny red Ferrari. Chris cannot help but ask him, "What do you do? And how do you do it?" The man explains that he is a stockbroker, and that all it takes to get into the field is being good with people and good with numbers. For Chris, this moment changes everything. He realizes that becoming a stockbroker could be his chance to give his family a better life. He applies for a highly competitive internship at Dean Witter, a brokerage firm. The internship does not pay, but if Chris becomes one of the few interns selected at the end of the program, he will get a full-time job. Linda is not happy about Chris's decision. They are already behind on rent, and now Chris wants to spend 6 months working for free. The pressure at home gets worse. Eventually, Linda decides she has had enough. She leaves Chris and moves to New York, leaving their son with him. Now Chris is on his own. He must work even harder to take care of his son, sell enough scanners to survive, and compete for a job at Dean Witter. The odds are against him, but Chris refuses to quit. This is where Chris's journey truly begins. He is broke, alone, and struggling, but he is also more motivated than ever to create a better future for himself and his son. Chris Gardner is now running on pure determination. His days are packed with endless phone calls, meetings, and number crunching, and his nights are spent in shelters, hoping he and his son can get a bed before it's too late. Yet through all this, Chris keeps going. He refuses to let his personal struggles show at work, believing that if he stays focused, he can still win the permanent job. One day, Chris gets an opportunity that could change everything. He is invited to a high-end business meeting with an important potential client. This is his chance to prove himself. But there's a problem. He has no clean suit. After spending the previous night fixing and painting a wall in exchange for rent money, Chris shows up to the meeting wearing paint-stained clothes. At first, the client is skeptical, but Chris uses his natural charm and intelligence to win him over. He stays calm, answers questions with confidence, and explains why Dean Witter is the right choice for managing the client's investments. Despite his appearance, Chris's professionalism impresses the client. By the end of the meeting, Chris has closed one of his first big deals. This moment marks a turning point. Chris begins gaining momentum. More clients agree to work with him, and his supervisors at Dean Witter start to notice his hard work. For the first time in a long time, Chris feels hope. Outside of work, life is still a struggle. Chris and his son continue to move between shelters, and sometimes they still sleep on buses. But now, Chris carries himself differently. He knows that every phone call, every handshake, and every closed deal is building towards something greater. The internship is coming to an end, and Chris learns that only one intern out of the group will be offered a full-time job. The pressure is intense. He cannot afford to relax for even a moment. Every day he pushes himself to make more calls than anyone else, even when he is exhausted, even when he is hungry. In one powerful scene, Chris takes his son to a basketball court. As they shoot hoops, Chris tells him something that reflects his own journey. Don't ever let someone tell you that you can't do something. Not even me. You gotta dream, you gotta protect it. If you want something, go get it. Period. This is the heart of Chris's story. Persistence, faith, and refusing to give up, no matter how hard life becomes. By the end of this part, Chris has become one of the top-performing interns at Dean Witter. The final decision is near, and Chris knows that everything he has sacrificed, the pain, the sleepless nights, the tears, will either pay off or leave him with nothing. The 6-month internship at Dean Witter is finally coming to an end. Chris Gardner has given everything he has, his time, his energy, and nearly every ounce of strength to this opportunity. Now, it all comes down to one final meeting. Chris walks into the office, dressed in his best suit, nervous but calm. He has no idea what the outcome will be. His supervisor and 2 senior partners are sitting across the table, watching him closely. The room is quiet for a moment before one of them finally speaks. We'd like to offer you a position here as a full-time stockbroker. For a second, Chris can't believe what he's hearing. His dream, the thing he has been chasing through months of struggle, hunger, and homelessness, has just come true. He smiles, nods politely, and thanks them for the opportunity. But as soon as he leaves the office, his emotions overwhelm him. Tears fill his eyes as he steps into the street. This is one of the most powerful moments in the film. Chris doesn't shout or cheer. Instead, he quietly celebrates, standing in the middle of a busy San Francisco street, clapping softly with tears streaming down his face. After everything he's been through, eviction, nights in shelters, losing Linda, keeping his son fed and safe, he has finally made it. With his first paycheck, Chris is able to rent a small but clean apartment for himself and his son. For the first time in a long time, they have a place to call home. No more sleeping on buses. No more waiting in line at shelters. That night, Chris watches his son sleep peacefully in his own bed, and we can see the relief in Chris's eyes. This final part of the story is called Happyness, spelled the way it was painted on the daycare wall at the start of the movie. For Chris, happiness is not about money or luxury. It's about safety, dignity, and the knowledge that he has created a better future for his child. The movie ends with a short text on the screen, revealing that Chris Gardner went on to become a successful businessman and eventually sold his own multi-million-dollar brokerage firm. His story is a powerful reminder that no matter how hard life gets, Persistence and faith can turn even the darkest times into triumph. Chris's journey is not just about success. It's about never giving up, no matter the odds. His story inspires us to keep going, keep believing, and keep working for our own version of happiness. And that's the end of Chris Gardner's powerful journey. Through all the pain and sacrifice, he never stopped believing that he could build a better future, and he did. I hope this video helped you not only practice your English, but also inspired you to keep going after your own dreams, no matter how hard things may seem. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to English and Popcorn, and share it with someone who needs motivation today. Remember, just like Chris says, if you want something, go get it. Period.